This lady was a professional preparer for getting her home on the market.
Imagine.
I actually asked her why she didn't just get her license, because she could just help herself wherever she went or get a referral or whatever. But she said something that stuck with me. Their house is over in Patch and Wilkes. And she said, we have to go into museum mode. And I was like, that's such an easy way for me to think about it. And she said, do you know what I mean by that? I wanted to, obviously engage that conversation first. Like, tell me exactly what you mean by that. She said, I want people from the time they get out of their car to move from exhibit to exhibit in my house. Yep. So she said, I think about each room and how I enjoy my house or how I live in it, but also how my company or my guests live in it. And I try to set it up to where when you show up for a showing, there's usually an agent and at least 1 to 4 or 5 buyers with them. Depending on the house they're in, it could be a smaller family, no family at all yet, or maybe even a bigger family. But do I orchestrate their path through the house the way that I think shows my house in the best light? That's the extreme rarity for a consumer being prepared. And that has been burned in my brain ever since. So when I'm on a seller's appointment, I'm bringing Heidi's advice with me of like, we don't have to do everything. And if there's choke points or places where people congregate more, let's make those more available. But I always ask sellers, and they always laugh at me, but when you go to somebody else's house, you don't congregate in bedrooms. You just don't. You congregate in dining areas, kitchens, foyers, living areas. So it's like, if we can declutter those, now you could go super technical as far as like making sure certain sizes of bedroom suites or size of beds fit. That's one part. But for getting ready for, photo or video, probably not as big of a deal. But then when we go into show mode, it's like, all right, how can I quickly move people through the main points? But when I'm showing houses, people go in a bedroom, king size bed, open the closet, close the closet, next room.
Exactly.
So I think just for sellers that are hearing that, once you get ready for that and then showings, that's where we'd love to be able to have some time with that seller to understand, all right, we've got the photo shot. Now how do we get ready for groups to come through the house? Is there anything you've seen that you would add to that as far as preparedness?
I just think, whenever we're shooting too, we typically like to shoot in that order too, the order that somebody would typically walk through the house. So we do that with photos, we do that with the video, because that's just what makes sense and what people want to see whenever the first time they see photos is online. So that's what they want to see. They just 1 or 2 shots outside, go right inside. That's what they don't want to see 17 pictures of the outside before they're like, all right, come on, let's get inside. I do it all the time. We're always looking at places, me and my wife, because but whenever that happens, we're just like, okay, there's 17 photos of the outside. I just want to get inside the house. Let's go. So we understand what buyers want. Picture or 2 of the outside. Let's go inside. Do the important parts. Go into the extra bedrooms last. That's not the most important thing. Go into the important parts and make sure those look the best, and understand what the buyers want, not just what you think as the seller.
Or maybe the order the photos got sent to you or that came from your download link.
Yeah.
What's the biggest common flaw? Because it sounds like you do pay attention to a lot of different agents' postings or how they organize those photos. And I'll come back to the sellers in a minute, but you said something I don't want to forget to ask you. You mentioned kind of the flow, but is there any kind of rule of thumb that you would advise agents on when uploading those photos? How many of them to use, how to structure them, how to flow them?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, for one, actually go and look and what they look like when you upload them. Because sometimes, places like Zillow and Realtor.com and stuff, it might not even look exactly the same as how you uploaded them. So go and look at what your online links look like, because it might just completely rearrange everything. You never know. Something might happen like that. And go in and act like the buyer for 2 minutes and see what it feels like whenever you're going through these listings. Because if you're wondering where the best parts of the house are and you're already 18 photos into it, it's like, what's going on? Like, people are going to move on, and you don't want people to move on just because they haven't gotten to the best part of the house yet. And so I think that's what it is. Just one or two pictures of the outside. If it's a big piece of land, make sure that that drone photo is one of the first couple of pictures, because that's what people, if people are searching for 15 acres, they want to see that at least one shot of the whole 15 acres.
They don't want to see the front
early on.
door.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll have that shot, but it doesn't necessarily need to be there, right up front. And so get into the meat of what people are looking for right away.